I have always really loved Birmingham, and I've lived in London for 10 years as well, but I still always came back to Birmingham a lot. And I've always spoken to people about what a great city Birmingham is. And I've grown up pretty much close to the city centre since I was little. So to me, I really do see the city centre of Birmingham as being my home. Never lived in the suburbs, never wanted to. And I love dark grey concrete buildings. I love noise and traffic and dirt and pollution. And if you put me in nature for too long with green fields, I get nervous. I'm not used to cows. So I love inner city life, and I love the mix of cultures that we've always had in Birmingham. I've loved the Balti Triangle, we have Chinatown. And I think that's probably really informed the way I view any other city I ever go to. So if I spend time in Manchester or Newcastle, I'm amazed at how white they are. If I spend time in London, I still feel as though it's not that much bigger than Birmingham. So when I was 18 and was applying to go and study to do a degree, I only wanted to live in London because I knew I'd already lived in Birmingham, which was the second biggest city. So there was no point in applying to Leeds or Manchester or anywhere else. And I got told off for that by my teachers. They said, no, you have to apply on your UCA form to lots of other cities. And I said, but I don't want to live anywhere else. There's nowhere better than Birmingham. There used to be an amazing shop. When I was about 14, I was 6 foot tall at school. I had glasses, and I got bullied quite a bit by the kids at school because they were quite snotty and stuck up, and I didn't ride horses or do ballet or any of the things that they seemed to do. And age 14, I remember going into a shop called Mega Active, I think it was called. It changed to Hyper, or there were several names it had. It was this enormous big building full of different designers and artists, and there were people that were tattooed and pierced and dreadlocks, and every kind of person you've ever seen lived in this space and created things, made jewellery, made clothes, there were DJs, and it was the funkiest space you've ever been to, and you just felt alive, and I loved it. I used to write poetry when I was at school, and then I think I became a teenager, and boys and music distracted me for the next 20 years. So poetry, it was a few years ago. I did a writing course just part-time for fun and met lots of other writers and spoken word artists. And I guess having worked in radio and music for years, I'm used to words spoken but never sort of written down. So at first it was that feeling of writing the words down felt very different. And then I went along to live nights in the Birmingham area, so there were people like Dreadlock Alien, a great friend, who encouraged me to do more writing and spoken word, and he became Birmingham Poet Laureate. My friend Spoz was also a Birmingham Poet Laureate, and so mainly I think them nagging me to just get back into it, do a bit more of it, do some live gigs, and then before you know it I'd filled in an application form and was gobsmacked that apparently I was suddenly the Birmingham Poet Laureate, and I still have no idea how that happened. Actually, I wrote a poem about Birmingham, and I very much saw Birmingham as being an urban girl, so it was very much this sense of a strong city, dirty, polluted, yet beautiful creature. And that was one of the first poems that I wrote as a grown-up. One of my favourite, just a few yards of Birmingham, I think sums up the whole city, and it's that stretch between the Selfridges building and then go past St Martin's Church and then the market. So for me that sums Birmingham up. You've got the flash new bits of it like Selfridges, you go past the old Gothic church, and then you have the markets where I've seen the same traders since I was, I suppose, about 7 years old, going down the market with my granddad, learning about how to get a bargain. The fish market, all been rebuilt, all looking very swanky, but you still have the outdoor market with the fruit and veg. You've got the rag market where I bought clothes or just anything you've ever wanted you can buy down there. Birmingham has just genuinely got better and better over the last 20 years. When I was first bringing friends to Birmingham, sometimes you'd have to persuade them. It would take a while for them to love it the way I did. But now, people who come for work, for business, if I'm walking around the city centre, I'll hear so many accents. I'll see people taking photographs at the canal. It's a beautiful city. The new buildings, the money that's been spent on it has really given it that edge. And if you travel to other cities in the country like Plymouth, you can feel that they need to have that and they're not being regenerated. So all that European money that came through a few years back now, it has sown the seeds. You look at the buildings like the Hyatt or the Cube or the Radisson, and it's actually changed the skyline. And every time I'm on a train coming home to Birmingham late at night, when I see the image of the Selfridges building, the silver and purple spotted igloo, it just makes my heart smile, and I do think, oh, I'm home.